Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. Robinson again, and we are going to continue our studies. We are talking about angles and parallel lines. Our vocabulary starts off with the word transversal. That's a line that intersects two other lines at different points. So the transversal would be the T here for transversal, which would be line T here, and it's intersecting two lines A and B. Parallel lines are lines in the same plane that never ever intersect. Lines A and B are parallel. This is the symbol these two parallel lines are. This is a symbol for parallel. So lines A and B are parallel. Here's another angle that you should know. It's called alternate exterior angles. Those are angles that lie outside a pair of parallel lines, and it's on the opposite side of the transversal. For example, angle 1 and angle 8. So notice they're on the outside of the lines, the parallel lines A and B, and they're on the opposite side of the T transversal. Also, angle 2 and 7. They're also on the outside and on the opposite side of the transversal. So alternate exterior angles. And if we can have alternate exterior angles, we can also have alternate interior angles. Those are lines or angles which lie within a pair of lines and are on opposite sides of the transversal. For example, angle 3 and 6. So notice 3 and 6, they're safely tucked inside lines A and B, and they're on the opposite side of line T, the transversal. Angles 4 and 5, notice they're on the opposite sides. They're tucked away safely inside lines A and B, and they are on the opposite sides of line T, the transversal. Corresponding angles. For two lines intersected by a transversal, a pair that lies on the same side of the transversal and on the same sides of the other two lines. For example, angle 3 and 7. They are on the same side of the line, the transversal, and they're located right below each line. So 3 is down there, and below line B, 7 is down there. So they're on the same side, and they correspond in position of location of the line with the angle, as well as angles 4 and 5. They're on top of the line A, and angle 5 is on top of line B. They're on the same side, and they are called corresponding. So they're also equal in value or congruent. So those are corresponding angles. So with that information, let's find the value of each angle if M stands for measure of angle 2 is equal to x degrees, and measure of angle 7 equals 70 degrees. So we have all these angles here. Angle 7 is down here, it's 70 degrees. Angle 2 is up here, it's x degrees. So if I took this red line and brought it up to overlay it right on top, because they were parallel, and I laid it right on top of the first line, I would have these same angles located up here. So angle 1 and 5 would be the same because they correspond. Angle 3 and 70 degrees correspond. Angle 8 and 4 correspond, and angle 6 and x degree correspond. So since those angles correspond to each other, I can now go back to what I know about corresponding angles. They're equal to each other, so angle 1 and 5 are equal, 3 and 70 degrees is equal, and 8 and 4 are equal, and so is 6 and x degree are equal. Now I notice these two lines intersect at this one point, and if I remember from my other video about vertical angles, opposite angles are equal. So at this angle 3 and 70 degree would be equal to angle 6 and x degree. So x would equal to 70 degrees. So we just found angle x, and angle 6 and angle 3 are also 70 degrees. So now all I need to do is find angle 1 and 5. So angle 1 and 5 and 4 and 8, they're equal to each other as well. So I remember that I have a straight angle from the other video. So I have a straight angle, which is right here. This red line, that's 180 degrees. So since it's 180 degrees, I can take away 70, because angle 6 is 70, and that'll give me 110 degrees remaining. So angle 1 and angle 5 would be the same measure. So that'd be 110 degrees. And let's clone that, because if that's equal to 110 degrees, so is its mirror image, angle 8 and 4, they're also equal to 110 degrees. So that's how I would find the value of each of these angles. And remember, angle 3 is 70 degrees, so that means its opposite, angle 6 and x degree, are also 70 degrees. So that's how I would find the value of each angle. So I hope you understood that. So here's one for you. And remember the little trick, find the value of each angle if the measure of angle 2 is x degrees again, and the measure of angle 8 is x plus 20. So I would slide this up, and I notice angle 2 is x degrees, but angle 8 is right down here, so it's next to it. So I have another 180 degrees right here on this side. So I have two angles that add up to 180 degrees because it's on a straight angle. And if you remember that, that'll help you solve for x. So that's a good question. So check your understanding, see if you understand it so far. If you don't, bring your questions in. I'll be glad to answer them in class. I have a quiz for you. Let's see how good you are. Find the measure of x degrees. So 50 degrees is this angle, and x degree is that angle. What do you think? I'll give you a couple seconds. And if you said 130, you are correct. How did you get 130? Remember, this is a straight angle, and these two angles are supplementary. Supplementary angles mean they add up to 180, so I will take my straight angle minus 50 degrees from it, and that equals to 130 degrees. So hopefully you pass my quiz. There's another quiz I have for you, but you'll have to see that in class. Here's an interesting question. Now I have a lot more lines here. So find the measure of each angle number, each of the numbered angles if the measure of angle 1 is 105 degrees. So angle 1 down here is 105 degrees. So all I have to do is find the rest of the angles. And if you remember, when I slid up my angles, opposites are equal. So I should have no problem finding my angles. So angle 3 is opposite from here. So those are opposite. And I remember that angle 1 and 7, I'm sorry, 1 and 5 are also corresponding angles because they correspond in the same position. So 1 and 5 would be the same. And I notice angle 3 is an interior angle and 5 is its alternate. So those are equal. And if I go down a little bit, angle 3 corresponds to the same position where angle 8 is, which is down there. So So, or I could just say 5 and 8 are vertical angles. So now I'd have to figure out what's the other angles. Well, if I remember, I got a straight angle, which gives me 180 degrees, and I already have 105. So if I subtract that, I get 75 degrees, which will be angle 2, and other angles. So 75 is angle 2, and angle 4, which is his opposite, or vertical opposite. And his alternate interior for angle 4 is angle 6, which is 75. And the corresponding angle to angle number 4 corresponds to angle number 7, or is the opposite of angle number 6, which is also 75. So that was a good lesson of remembering all our angle parts. So check your understanding. Hopefully you understood what we did so far. If you didn't, please rewatch the tape. I'll be glad to go over it in class. So this is Dr. Robinson signing off. Bye-bye.